In a bold move, Trump directs Musk to appoint 45 agents to enhance government oversight across top security agencies. Date: February 9, 2025. In a sweeping initiative to overhaul federal operations, President Donald Trump has instructed tech billionaire Elon Musk to appoint 45 agents aimed at enhancing government oversight across key security agencies. This directive is part of the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, which has come under scrutiny for its access to sensitive government data and systems. Key developments. 1. Formation of DOGE. On January 20, 2025, Trump signed an executive order establishing DOGE, empowering Musk and his team to access various federal agencies with the goal of streamlining operations and cutting waste. This agency was positioned as a response to inefficiencies perceived in federal operations. 2. Access to Treasury systems. By late January 2025, Musk's team gained access to the Treasury Department's payment systems. Initially limited to read-only access. This access has raised significant security concerns, with experts cautioning that such access could expose sensitive financial information to potential vulnerabilities. 3. Political appointments. On February 5, 2025, the Trump administration announced a significant shift in the roles of agency chief information officers (CIOs), making these positions political appointees. This change allows for easier dismissals and aligns agency leadership more closely with Trump's agenda, further consolidating power within the federal workforce. 4. Tensions with federal employees. As Musk's team began operations, tensions escalated, particularly with staff at the U.S. Agency for International Development (USAID). On February 7, 2 security personnel were placed on leave after attempting to prevent DOGE employees from accessing sensitive systems, highlighting the friction between Musk's operatives and established federal employees. 5. Judicial intervention. On February 8, 2025, a federal judge temporarily restricted Musk's access to the Treasury payment systems, citing the risk of irreparable harm and vulnerabilities to hacking. This ruling underscores the legal challenges faced by the Trump administration as it attempts to reshape federal operations. Security concerns and political maneuvering. The directive for Musk to appoint agents has sparked widespread alarm regarding national security. Cybersecurity experts have voiced concerns over the implications of allowing private individuals and their associates access to government systems. The potential for data leaks and foreign espionage looms large as Musk's operations at the Treasury and other agencies have drawn scrutiny. Trump's administration is actively working to replace career civil servants with political appointees, a strategy designed to align federal agency leadership with his administration's goals. Critics have labeled this approach as a tech coup, fearing that it could facilitate Musk's allies in exerting undue influence over critical IT infrastructure. Legal and congressional tensions. The Trump administration faces mounting legal challenges from state attorneys general and other entities contesting its efforts to revamp the federal bureaucracy. Several lawsuits have resulted in temporary halts to various initiatives, reflecting the contentious nature of these reforms. Democratic lawmakers have expressed frustration over being denied access to federal agencies, indicating a breakdown in traditional oversight mechanisms. A notable incident occurred when several Democratic lawmakers were denied entry to the Department of Education, leading to confrontations with security personnel. The refusal of entry to members of Congress exemplifies the escalating conflict between the executive branch and legislative oversight. Media perspectives. Different media outlets have provided varying interpretations of the unfolding events. The New York Times emphasizes the security vulnerabilities associated with Musk's operations, detailing the legal ramifications of his access to sensitive data. The reporting highlights the tensions between Musk's team and federal employees, indicating the potential implications for national security. NBC News, on the other hand, focuses on the political ramifications of Trump's changes to CIO roles and the broader strategy of consolidating power within the federal workforce. The outlet discusses the implications of this shift for Musk's influence over federal technology systems, framing it as part of a larger agenda to reshape the federal government. Conclusion: Trump's directive for Musk to appoint agents represents a bold and controversial attempt to enhance government oversight and efficiency. However, this initiative is fraught with legal, political, and security challenges that could significantly impact the future of federal operations and oversight mechanisms. As the situation unfolds, the balance of power within the federal government remains in flux, with implications that could reverberate across various sectors and institutions. In a significant development, President Trump has directed Elon Musk to appoint 45 agents to enhance government oversight across top security agencies, part of a broader initiative aimed at overhauling federal operations. This directive comes amid growing controversies surrounding Musk's access to sensitive government data and systems through his newly formed Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE). Timeline of events: 1. January 20, 2025. Trump signs an executive order establishing DOGE, allowing Musk and his team to access various federal agencies to streamline operations and reduce waste. 2. Late January 2025, Musk's team gains access to Treasury Department payment systems initially granted read-only access, raising significant security concerns about potential vulnerabilities. 3. February 5, 2025, the Trump administration announces plans to make agency chief information officers (CIOs) political appointees, allowing for easier dismissal and alignment with Trump's agenda. This move is described by some as a tech coup, potentially paving the way for Musk's allies to take control of crucial IT infrastructure. 4. February 7, 2025, tensions escalate as Musk's team clashes with federal employees at the U.S. Agency for International Development (USAID), leading to the placement of 2 security personnel on leave who tried to block Musk's access. 5. February 8, 2025, a federal judge temporarily restricts Musk's team from accessing Treasury payment systems, citing risks of irreparable harm and potential vulnerabilities to hacking. The ruling highlights the ongoing legal challenges faced by the Trump administration as it attempts to reshape federal operations. Key points: security concerns. Multiple sources raise alarms over Musk's access to sensitive data, with cybersecurity experts warning that allowing a private individual and his team to penetrate government systems could lead to significant risks, including data leaks and foreign espionage. Political maneuvering. Trump's administration is actively working to consolidate control over federal agencies by replacing career civil servants with political appointees, thus aligning agency leadership with his administration's goals. This strategy aims to facilitate Musk's cost-cutting measures more effectively. Legal challenges. The Trump administration faces ongoing lawsuits from state attorneys general and other entities challenging its efforts to reshape the federal bureaucracy, demonstrating the contentious nature of these reforms. The courts have temporarily halted some initiatives amid concerns over legality and oversight. Congressional tensions. Democratic lawmakers have expressed frustration over being denied access to federal agencies, indicating a breakdown in traditional oversight mechanisms. The refusal of entry to members of Congress at the Department of Education exemplifies the escalating conflict between the executive branch and legislative oversight. Differences between sources. The New York Times emphasizes the potential security vulnerabilities arising from Musk's operations and the legal ramifications of his access to sensitive data. It provides detailed accounts of the tensions between Musk's team and federal employees, highlighting the implications for national security. Conversely, NBC News focuses more on the political implications of Trump's changes to CIO roles and the broader strategy of consolidating power within the federal workforce. It discusses the potential for a tech coup and emphasizes how these actions may facilitate Musk's influence over federal technology systems. In summary, Trump's directive for Musk to appoint agents to enhance oversight reflects a larger strategy to transform the federal government. Yet it is fraught with legal, political, and security challenges that could shape the future of federal operations and oversight. In the report detailing President Trump's directive for Elon Musk to appoint 45 agents to enhance government oversight at various security agencies, there are several important content elements that many readers may overlook which are significant for understanding the broader implications of this directive. 1. The establishment of the Department of Government Efficiency DOGE. The formation of DOGE is a pivotal development. While it is framed as an initiative to streamline government operations and reduce waste, it also represents a significant shift in how government agencies operate. By placing a private individual, Musk, in a position of authority over federal operations, there is potential for conflicts of interest and a lack of accountability. This change could lead to the prioritization of private interests over public welfare, since Musk's motivations and business interests may not align with those of the federal government. Significance: the creation of DOGE could set a precedent for future administrations to bring private sector figures into government roles, which raises questions about the role of private interests in public governance. This shift may undermine the traditional boundaries between public service and private enterprise, potentially leading to a lack of transparency and accountability in government operations. 2. Access to sensitive data and security risks. Musk's team has been granted access to sensitive government data and systems, particularly within the Treasury Department. This situation raises significant cybersecurity concerns. Experts have warned that allowing individuals from the private sector, particularly those without extensive governmental experience, to access critical government systems could create vulnerabilities that could be exploited by foreign adversaries. Significance: the potential for data leaks and security breaches poses a serious risk, especially given the current geopolitical climate where cyber threats from nation-state actors are prevalent. This transition to allowing private individuals access to sensitive information may compromise national security and public trust in governmental institutions. 3. Political appointees and the erosion of civil service protections. The directive to make Chief Information Officers (CIOs) political appointees rather than career civil servants is another crucial aspect that could be easily overlooked. This move creates a scenario where agency leaders could be dismissed at will, essentially politicizing the technology and information management sectors of government. Significance: this change not only undermines the merit-based civil service system but also opens the door for potential cronyism and the installation of individuals who may not have the necessary qualifications to manage critical government IT infrastructure. The risk here is twofold. It diminishes the quality of governance and creates a system where political loyalty is valued over technical competence, which is particularly concerning in areas like cybersecurity. 4. Legal and congressional challenges. The report highlights ongoing legal challenges and the potential for increased tension between the executive and legislative branches. The courts have already intervened to temporarily restrict access to sensitive data, indicating that there are substantial legal hurdles to the Trump administration's plans. Significance: these legal challenges underscore the fragility of the administration's initiatives and the potential for significant pushback from both state attorneys general and congressional members. The implications of these tensions extend to the broader governance framework, where the balance of power may be tested as the administration attempts to implement sweeping changes without adequate oversight or consultation with Congress. 5. Impact on federal agencies and workforce. The report mentions the chaos caused at various federal agencies, including the U.S. Agency for International Development (USAID), where Musk's team has clashed with career employees. The directive to place employees on administrative leave raises concerns about the impact on agency operations and the morale of federal workers. Significance: disruption within agencies like USAID, which plays a vital role in humanitarian aid and international development, could lead to long-term consequences for U.S. foreign policy and global humanitarian efforts. The reduced capacity to manage aid programs effectively could result in increased vulnerability for populations reliant on U.S. assistance, thus damaging the U.S.'s global standing and humanitarian commitments. 6. Cultural and ideological shifts in governance. The ideological underpinnings of this initiative reflect a broader cultural shift towards privatization and efficiency at the expense of established government functions. The framing of the changes as a tech coup suggests an aggressive approach to dismantling traditional bureaucratic structures. Significance: this ideological shift may pave the way for further privatization of government functions, potentially leading to a scenario where essential services are managed by private entities rather than public servants. Such a transition may exacerbate existing inequalities in service provision, particularly if cost-cutting measures prioritize profit over public service. Conclusion: these overlooked elements highlight the significant transformations occurring within the federal government under Trump's directive to Musk. The implications of these changes extend beyond immediate governance concerns, potentially reshaping the relationship between the public and private sectors, altering the balance of power within the government and introducing substantial risks to national security and public welfare. Understanding these nuances is crucial for grasping the future landscape of U.S. governance and its potential consequences on both domestic and international fronts. 1. Security concerns surrounding Musk's access to sensitive government data. The directive for Musk to appoint agents to enhance oversight across key security agencies has raised significant alarm regarding cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Experts emphasize that allowing Musk and his team, who are classified as special government employees, to access sensitive systems poses risks of data breaches and foreign espionage. A federal judge's temporary restriction on Musk's team's access to the Treasury payment systems underscores the concerns that their presence could make these critical infrastructures more susceptible to hacking and unauthorized leaks. This situation necessitates a broader discussion on the implications of private individuals wielding substantial influence over national security and sensitive government operations. 2. Political maneuvering and the shift to political appointees. The Trump administration's move to transform agency chief information officers (CIOs) into political appointees signifies a broader strategy of consolidating control over the federal bureaucracy by replacing career civil servants with political allies. The administration aims to facilitate initiatives like Musk's cost-cutting measures more effectively. This shift raises questions about the potential politicization of technology oversight within federal agencies and the implications for impartial governance. The term tech coup used by critics captures the concern that such changes could undermine the integrity and independence of federal IT operations. 3. Legal challenges and judicial oversight. The Trump administration's aggressive restructuring efforts face numerous legal challenges, with state attorneys general and other entities contesting the legality of these actions. The federal judiciary's intervention, including the recent ruling restricting access to Treasury systems, highlights the ongoing tension between the executive branch's ambitions and judicial oversight. This conflict illustrates the critical role that legal frameworks and judicial review play in maintaining checks and balances within the government, especially when significant changes to federal operations are proposed. 4. Congressional tensions and erosion of oversight mechanisms. The refusal of entry to Democratic lawmakers at various federal agencies signifies a breakdown in traditional oversight mechanisms. Lawmakers' frustrations over being denied access to agency operations reflect a concerning trend of diminishing legislative power in the face of executive initiatives. This situation not only raises alarms about accountability but also raises fundamental questions about the balance of power between the branches of government. The growing tensions between the Trump administration and Congress highlight the potential for an increasingly unilateral approach to governance, with implications for democratic oversight and the functioning of federal agencies. These points encapsulate the multifaceted challenges posed by the intertwining of private interests in governmental operations, underscoring the need for rigorous oversight, transparency, and adherence to established legal frameworks within the federal government. 1. The dismissal of U.S. attorneys. 2006. In a controversial move, President George W. Bush's administration dismissed several U.S. attorneys, which led to accusations of political motivations behind the firings. Critics argued that the dismissals were part of an effort to exert political control over the Justice Department and to influence prosecutions against political allies. This incident sparked significant public outcry and led to investigations by Congress. 2. The purge of the federal bureaucracy during the Trump administration 2017 to 2020. Throughout his presidency, Donald Trump attempted to reshape the federal bureaucracy by removing career civil servants and replacing them with political appointees. This included efforts to streamline federal agencies and reduce the workforce, often citing inefficiency and a lack of alignment with his administration's goals. These actions led to numerous legal challenges and accusations of undermining the integrity of federal institutions. 3. The Scott Pruitt controversy at the EPA 2017 to 2018. Scott Pruitt, appointed by Trump as the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, faced numerous scandals regarding his spending habits and alleged misuse of office. His tenure was marked by efforts to roll back environmental regulations which critics argued were influenced by political and corporate interests rather than scientific evidence. Pruitt eventually resigned amid mounting pressure from lawmakers and public protests over his actions and ethics. In the wake of President Trump's directive for Elon Musk to appoint 45 agents to enhance government oversight across key security agencies, the future of federal operations appears poised for significant transformation. This initiative, part of a broader strategy encapsulated within the newly established Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, raises critical questions about the balance of power, cybersecurity, and the integrity of government services. Predictions for the future. 1. Increased political appointees. The trend of appointing political allies to critical roles will likely continue, resulting in a workforce that is increasingly aligned with the Trump administration's agenda. This could lead to a government that prioritizes political loyalty over expertise, potentially undermining the effectiveness and impartiality of key agencies. Expect a surge in political appointees across various departments, particularly in technology and information security roles. 2. Cybersecurity risks. As Musk's team integrates into federal systems, the potential for cybersecurity breaches will heighten. Critics have raised alarms about Musk's access to sensitive data, which could expose government systems to vulnerabilities. Future developments may see increased scrutiny and regulatory changes aimed at safeguarding sensitive information as the administration faces mounting pressure from cybersecurity experts and lawmakers. 3. Legal challenges and court battles. The Trump administration's aggressive restructuring efforts will likely face sustained legal challenges from state attorneys general and advocacy groups. These challenges could delay or halt initiatives, creating a protracted legal landscape where major decisions regarding federal operations are litigated in courts. Expect to see significant rulings from federal courts that could shape the future of executive authority and the limits of administrative reforms. 4. Diminished congressional oversight. The ongoing tensions between the executive branch and Congress will likely lead to a further erosion of traditional oversight mechanisms as the Trump administration consolidates power. We may witness a reduction in the ability of lawmakers to access federal agencies and hold them accountable. This could set a precedent for future administrations to operate with diminished scrutiny, raising concerns about transparency and governance. 5. Transformation of federal agencies. Agencies such as the U.S. Agency for International Development (USAID) and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau (CFPB) may undergo drastic restructuring. Trump's vision of reducing the size and scope of government could manifest in significant cuts to programs and personnel, leading to a government that is less equipped to address complex social and economic challenges. The future may see agencies stripped of their capabilities to provide essential services, especially in areas like foreign aid and consumer protection. 6. Innovation versus oversight dilemma. While the intention behind DOGE is to streamline operations and enhance efficiency, the interplay between innovation and oversight will be critical. The future may present a scenario where technological advancements are pursued at the expense of established protocols and safeguards. As Musk's entrepreneurial spirit drives change, the challenge will be balancing innovation with the necessary oversight to protect public interests. 7. Public response and activism. As these developments unfold, public sentiment may shift significantly. A potential backlash against perceived overreach and the consolidation of power in the hands of a few could galvanize activism and advocacy for reform. Expect grassroots movements and organized efforts to push back against the administration's initiatives, leading to heightened political engagement among citizens concerned about government accountability. 8. Impact on global relations. The U.S. government's shift in operations and oversight could have ramifications for international relations, especially in areas of foreign aid and diplomatic engagement. If agencies like USAID are diminished or restructured, the U.S.'s ability to project soft power and respond to global crises may be compromised. The future may see a recalibration of U.S. foreign policy that reflects a more isolationist approach impacting global humanitarian efforts. 9. Long-term institutional changes. The changes initiated under the Trump administration could set long-lasting precedents for how federal agencies operate. Future administrations may adopt similar strategies of restructuring and consolidating power, fundamentally altering the landscape of federal governance. This could lead to a cycle of instability where each administration seeks to undo or modify the previous administration's policies, creating inconsistency in government operations. 10. Evolving role of technology. Finally, the increasing reliance on technology within government operations will lead to a redefinition of the role of tech leaders and their influence over public policy. As technology becomes more integrated into federal operations, the lines between public service and private interests may blur, raising ethical questions about the role of private individuals in public governance. In conclusion, the future of federal operations under Trump's directive to Musk is likely to be marked by significant changes that challenge traditional governance structures and oversight mechanisms. The interplay between political loyalty, cybersecurity, legal challenges, and public response will shape the trajectory of these initiatives, ultimately determining the effectiveness and integrity of federal operations moving forward.